So this weekend we're going to be doing a bunch of hinge cutting, and I got some help. I'm back. And then I forgot a very important part of the hinge cutting process, which is a chainsaw. But I had a lot on my mind. So I had to bring all this other stuff with and whatnot and remember it all, and I forgot the chainsaw. But Mike brought his, so we're ready.
So you want to do your first product review of the day that you just saw?
What's the product review?
The steel
Oh,
extension.
oh yeah. I was saying to him, I go, he's putting on his chaps, and I noticed his chaps have two buckles.
Two buckles for
And
the
I'm like-
for the husky fella in the family.
Yeah. I'm like, mine don't have two buckles, and I'm like, he's like, yeah, gotta get him special ordered.
For the guys with some girth. Now,
Yeah.
For the record, at one point in time, I was a single buckle, but
Yeah, well,
eventually, you
we
move
all
up
get
to
older.
a double buckle.
Double buckle.
Pretty soon, I'll have a double buckle and suspenders on them.
You're not. We can't do triple buckle though. bro.
That's where we draw the line.
That's where it's
All
like, all right, enough with the Teddy.
Then I gotta
Grahams.
start eating some salads.
Yeah, no more Teddy Grahams. All right, so we got a chainsaw. It was acting up, of course, because that's what happens when you don't have a backup chainsaw. Your one chainsaw starts acting up.
That's never acted up.
Never
ever.
happened, and it's acting up. So, but I think maybe it just has to warm up, even though it's 60 degrees. Well, it's probably 70 now, but
Hey, Rudy.
anyhow. We got our wedges, and we already have our habitat hook up in the woods, so we'll get started. Here's the food plot, and we want to edge feather this area. Kind of make a wall of hinge cuts lower, so they don't want to walk through. They don't want to walk through. We're just going to make openings where we want the deer to come out into this food plot from this side of the woods, where we have our transition area that we cut this winter. And then we're also going to cut some more hinge cutting in the transition area. We're going to make our way all the way across and into the other trail on the other side of these woods, and right in front of the bedding area, because we're going to edge feather that really well too, so we can walk down that trail unseen from the deer to get to our tree stands. So pretty much all these little trees here that you see will hinge cut. We hinge cut this area. We're going to do a couple more of these to cover this area in. I have an opening here for a tractor trail that I plan on doing. And then this is what we got done in this section. So you can see, you can't see through there anymore. That's just a wall of brush. And then we have another opening for a deer trail for them to come into the food plot there.
That's the buck trail.
That's the buck trail. So we'll continue down cutting the smaller trees, and then we'll cover this area in a wall of brush here. So that'll be an opening, and then we'll probably have another opening over there. So this is what we got. We got a little opening here where the deer can come in, but you can see that can't see out of this food plot really. The deer could walk under there also. But this is way thicker now. Can't see into the woods outside of this food plot, and you can't see into the food plot, which will help draw the bucks into the plot during the fall to check for does and stuff. And then our trail is right here. So when we come in here, you know, before we could walk in this food plot and a deer could actually see us walking 150 yards out. Now that's not the case. And it took us, what do you think, Mike, an hour and
Yeah,
15?
We struggled with a couple to get them where we wanted.
Yeah, the problem is it's hard along a food plot because all the trees are overhanging the food plot to grab the sun. So most of the limbs they all want to drop into the food plot. Well, that's not where you want them. You want them to go sideways to the food plot or away from it. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest. But once we move into the woods and start doing our hinge cuts, it's going to be easier because most of the trees are going to be growing straight up. You know what I mean? That's where they're getting the sunlight is straight up, and they're not overhanging a clearing. So it's going to be easier because it's a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
So we got probably 4 different areas.
It's the good work, though.
It's the good kind of word. We got probably 4 different areas where they can come in and out, and hopefully they don't feel boxed in. They have plenty of exit routes out here they can run.
And the swamp is 100 yards, maybe?
Yeah, about 100 yards that way. So this definitely you can't even see into the woods now. Now we'll just head through our transition area and strategically hinge cut the trees in there that are the right size, which is about, I would say, 8 inches or smaller in diameter, is the ones we can get down on the ground where we want them.
Right.
So
Safely get down.
yeah, exactly.
Well, hello to everyone out there. If you're wondering why I'm just sitting here relaxing, old Mr. Kirk forgot the hook over at the other spot. So he's making the walk of shame right now and grabbing the hook. So now we got $1 waiting on a nickel. Hopefully he gets back soon. We got another half day here. We took a little break, got the dog some rest. Now we're on the other side. So we're on the trail right here. This trail actually does a big circle around. And we were straight that way where we hinge cut this morning. And then right through here is one of our food plots that you've seen, right by our big box blind. The box blind, that we call it the 8x8. It's a condo. Maybe you remember some previous seasons where we've grilled steaks on opening day in there. So we made we did some hinge cutting around that plot. We didn't video it, but then we went through and created a trail to funnel them. And now what we are is on the other side, and we're gonna hinge cut this area right here and continue down. And we have another stand down that way. Nice box blind. Hey, we got our tools now. Now we can get back to work, Kirk.
So this is where we're hinge cutting today.
So now this is 2 hours later after I finished hinge cutting. I got a section done, probably, I don't know, 75 yards long. But you can see what it looked like kind of before and in the previous video. And now walking down this main trail to any tree stand, obviously, I have down this way. It's very hard to see past this wall of brush I've made. Anyway, it'd be very hard for deer in the bedding area to see me walking down this trail. Now this right here is going to be a tractor trail, so I can access through the bedding area and grab maple syrup when I start doing that when we move up here. There's a lot of hard maples throughout there, so I'm going to make a couple trails through there. So I plan on, obviously the deer would pop out here. So this was, I would like to have a shot, probably going to end up being a 35, 40 yard shot maybe to this spot. But I'll have a bow shot from a elevated tree stand that I'm going to build hopefully on this trail here. So as we continue, this is all very thick, and it's probably about 10 yards wide, maybe a little bit more. And then you get to this spot where I kind of made like a little trail that went through there. Hopefully the deer will feel safer and travel this trail rather than the tractor trail is what my thoughts were. But you know, they'll use both in the end, but maybe a buck will use this smaller trail and pop out on the main logging road, and my tree stand will be right here, which will also be within bow range of a watering hole that I've made a few years back, and they do use it quite extensively. There's a lot of tracks and stuff in this watering hole, and that was just dug with a bulldozer. It's about 3 feet deep, so there's always water in it. And then again, this is an open area so they can access that water. Now again, I have a lot of hinge cutting to do still, but that's what I got done. Another spot is right through here. There's a dead tree. I could access another, I'll have another tractor trail come branch off the main logging road and come out through here. Now, what I did here was this was all open. So if I was walking down the trail right here and that was completely open, there would be a spot where the deer could see me in the bedding area. So I dropped a bunch of trees and to cover up this clump, because this tractor trail will come through here and then take a left and follow down that way. And then I can access all the hard maples that are on both sides of that trail. But what I did was I dropped a bunch of tops right here just to plug up that hole so the deer will not be able to see me on the trail as I walk through to my tree stands. And then if you go around this brush, you know, boom, there's a trail right there. So the deer can come in from the side and then access the water, or they can come around here, access the water. But they still will not be able to see me using the main logging road to get to my tree stands. That's my thought anyway. So a little update too. Here's the pines are doing pretty good. Here's one of the pines that we planted. You can see all the new growth on it already. So he looks pretty happy, and by doing these hinge cuttings, I've created a lot more pockets of light that'll drop in. You know, that tree's gonna get a lot of evening sun now once it gets over the top of that canopy. So this tree too didn't look quite as good, but it's still hanging on. This guy here was totally in the shade. He don't look very healthy, but I'm hoping now that I've opened up this canopy with these hinge cuts, he'll start growing. But I wanted to show you what me and Mike got done last weekend. Here's a little area. I got, again, a little gray zone is what I'm calling it. Real low hinge cut trees that the deer wouldn't want to go through, and that's going to help block their view of the main logging road and also the hinge cutting that I already did there. But on the back side of it is kind of this is where we hinge cut for bedding. So they're a little bit up high. Deer can get underneath it and walk around easily enough. Creates a lot of side cover. And I have to get in here and tune this up. I'm gonna have to take the branches out and stuff. It's gonna take years to, you know, I'm gonna be working on it for years. So it's kind of a never ending process. But if we drop down here, there's a lot of areas where they can, you know, run out. This is pretty much just a canopied area, but there is a lot of side cover here. And again, all that side cover from the gray zone that we created with the lower hinge cuts right there. I'll have to cut these dead branches out of the way and make trails in and out and get the sticks and logs out from underneath so they have a spot to lay down. They're obviously not going to lay down on a log. So, and then as we go down farther along this tractor trail, I'll show you another area that we did. And here's another pine. He's getting a lot of light because of the area we hinge cut. He's gonna grow up, and then when the leaves are off the trees, because of all the pines I planted in here, about 100, that'll help keep it thick for the deer and create windbreaks and all that stuff. So it'll still be thick even when the leaves are off. So the tractor trail is gonna come around here. So I can get at all these nice hard maples. I didn't cut any of the ones down close to the trail that looked like they were good healthy trees, so I can tap them for syrup. But as we come down here, obviously I have a lot of work to do. I gotta cut these dead trees out of the way and stuff for this eventual trail. But on the side of it, this is right inside of my largest bedding area that I'm creating. And the tractor trail is gonna go through here. On the side of it, this is some hinge cutting me and Mike did for a bedding area. So we got the first step done. The second step is to actually get into each one of these pockets that we did and create little trails through there, open them up, get the dead sticks out, move big logs like that off to the side so they can access them easier. But even before that, I think the deer are gonna use this area because of all the cover that it provides. Because before it looked like that. And now it looks like this. So eventually they'll be able, I'll have a ton of trails going through there and they'll be able to access all that. And at any spot they can go a few different directions to get out and evade predators or whatever. And I'll show you what I mean by tuning it up a little bit. So if I was to walk through here, I would cut a section out of this log. That tree isn't alive anyway. I'll cut that section out so deer can easily access that, and I'll cut a section out of there so they can walk right through here. And then they can bed off to the side if they want. Now if I turn here, this tree is also dead. So I'll cut that section so he can walk through here and get to the other side. Then he can access this area. Now I got some large trees that are up high and a ton of hingeable trees behind it. So what I'll do is drop them over the top and lay them over the top of those two large trees, and they'll be able to get up underneath here. So once I drop in, I have enough of a canopy over the top, I can take some of those other hingeable trees and drop them lower on the sides to create that cover on the sides. And then I'll just have like 3 access spots to come in and out of this one area.